Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi, good afternoon. Come back with me, Mimin Dita.
And me, Mimin Dirga, in today's Praditas Talk.
Now, in this beautifully raining afternoon, what are we going to do?
So actually, today we'll have a discussion, a very, very relaxing discussion about our school's curriculum, and it is about the International Baccalaureate, or IB program,
And in this discussion, we would like to invite two very special teachers, which is Sir Oscar Carrascalao.
Hi.
as well as our CAS coordinator, Miss Ernie.
Hello.
So, what is actually the IB curriculum? So, actually, IB curriculum, or the IB itself, is a non-profit educational organization that was formed in 1968. This IB is very, very important for us as a student because it will encourage our skills and it will also develop our inner selves.
And before we get into today's highlight, I would like to inform that four of us already got vaccinated and tested negative for COVID-19.
Yep, and due to all of this, we are now ready. And without further ado, let's just go into the main questions. First up, for Sir Oscar, since when does IB curriculum applied in Pradita Dirgantara?
Okay, that's a nice question. Thank you for introducing IB in the opening of this podcast, the Praditas Talk, right? Thank you. And so today we are going to talk about the IB and the implementation in our school. I think it's interesting, right? And challenging for all the students and the teacher as well. Okay, actually our school is an international school, right? And the tagline of our school is world-class boarding school for future leader. It means that the international standard is very important, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like international standard here first before I continue to answer my question, your questions?
Yes, we do.
We do.
For me, though.
Yeah, it's challenging, but it is also very fun to do. Yep.
Yeah, because it allows you to explore yourself, right? In terms of
Right.
your skills and your interests and so on. So actually our school was the candidate school to get the IB certificate, IB authorized school since June 2020. And after that we tried to, we tried to meet all requirements to be the IB World Schools. And within 1 year we just struggled to meet all the requirements. The teachers' certifications, for example, and then the program itself, the action items we need to do, and the most important thing is preparing the students to be able to meet the standard of the IB students. For example, we give you English program, yeah, as the preliminary program before doing IB, and then after that we get the authorizations from the IB, International Baccalaureate Organizations, to be the one of IB World Schools in August 2021.
Okay.
So since August 2021, we are IB. We are
IB.
one of the IB World Schools. Yeah.
Give applause.
Give applause.
Yeah.
Now, sir, since we have a very different curriculum than other schools, can you simply elaborate how our school's schedule works?
Okay, the consequence of being the IB schools means that there will be several programs that you will need to do within 2 years, right?
Yep.
Okay, for example, you are in the 10th grade students right now, but as the IB students, you are in the first cohort of SMA Pradita Dirgantara. It means that you will graduate from the IB program in SMA Pradita Dirgantara the next 2 years. It means 2020,
Yep.
2023, yeah,
Yeah.
2023. So, as the school, as the IB World Schools, we would like to meet the requirements to be the IB World School. For example, you were introduced by the teachers about this IB subjects, right? And then there are 6 groups of the IB school, right? The first, we are preparing you to take language and literature studies, and then a foreign language study or language acquisition, and then humanity and social studies, and group 4 we have science, and then group 5 we have mathematics, and the last we have arts. Yeah. So to implement all of them, the school tried to collaborate all the schedule, so that right now you have chosen your subject choice and then implementing your IB. And the most important thing, we try to implement the core element. One of the element is CAS, creativity, activity and services, and then TOK, and the last is EE. So that's how we implement it. we give you the time to do your core elements, the 3 core elements, and then during the teaching and learning process, you are allowed. You are allowed to do the subject choices in the teaching and learning process.
So, after your brief explanation about it, it seems like we'll have a tight schedule here. I mean, like our schedule will be quite hectic, and it will like maybe we'll test ourselves regarding like, are we strong enough to do this one or do every task that we need to know? Actually, I wanna ask simple question. How within all of this stuff we can collaborate the IB with the national curriculum as well? So how can we like use the IB as well as using it in the national curriculum?
Okay, I think that's a great question. The first thing that I would like to say is, the government require all the schools to do the national curriculum, right? And SMA Pradita is one of national curriculum in Indonesia, one of the national school in Indonesia. The thing is, actually, dengan Merdeka Belajar, Merdeka Belajar is the term from our Minister of Education, Mas Nadiem Makarim. The school will be, I think we can improve the curriculum that we'd like to implement in our school. And then the national curriculum, Curriculum 2013, is the basic curriculum that we would like to improve and develop. Then IB will be, the additional curriculum that you will get, right? The first thing is there will be, some learner profiles in IB, right? We have 10 learner profiles. And I think it's aligned with Pelajar Pancasila, Pelajar Pancasila profile designed by the Minister of Education. Now, in this case, you will have an opportunity to know yourself, know your strength, and then know your weaknesses, and then after that, the school will help you how to develop that by choosing some subjects, 6 subjects, and then by choosing your CAS program, your extended essay topic, etc. So this curriculum, the national curriculum and the IB curriculum in SMA Pradita Dirgantara, we integrate all of them and called as Global Competences Curriculum. So it will allow our students to have a capability to maximize the potentials you have, guys.
Thank you for that explanation.
That is cool, actually.
And the next question is moving class. What is that, and is that part of an IB curriculum?
Maybe Bu Erni can add.
Okay, I think moving class is an approach to make students more active in discipline. Students not only waiting the teachers, but also they have to find the resources, and we have class centra. Yes. We call it class centra. Yes, and I think, is it fun for you?
That is a very good question, because actually for us as a student, it is sometimes at first it's quite challenging, because sometimes like, where is the room, and then like we got lost.
And where's the teacher?
Where's the teachers?
But after maybe a month of doing those moving class, we are quite used to it, and then like, it's not a problem.
We're used to it now.
Yeah, because something new maybe will be a trouble at the first.
Yeah.
After that, we know that and get used to it, right? And maybe I would like to add the explanations about the moving class. First of all, as the IB World Schools, and then we are implementing the global competences curriculum. The school wants the students and the teaching during the teaching and learning process to have a happy teaching and happy learning. So that's why in the central class you see the decorations of the class, right? For example, in biology class you will see so many things related to biology.
Aquascape.
Yes,
you can find aquascape there.
Aquascape,
Yes, cactus. And plants.
And then in history class, for example, you will see some things related to history. In
globe.
history, you will find so many a board game, right? Yeah, and talking. The internalizations exist in our class, for example, like that. So that's one of the strategy to make the teaching and learning process fun, and then to implement happy teaching.
Okay.
Oh, that's why every time we move into class, we feel like, oh, this class is a history class. Oh, this is a
Yeah,
biology
because
class.
sometimes like especially when you enter the biology class, we do see the skeleton, this human skeleton, which is actually quite cool, considering that not all of those out there can see it directly. But for us, it is such great honor. And actually, I'm still quite interested in the previously mentioned about the IB. So it's there. I heard there is some weird abbreviation, which is HL and SL. So what is that, and how is it applied in our school, sir?
Yep, that's a great question. In IB, we have two categories of subject: HL, higher level, and SL, standard level. As I mentioned before, that you would like to choose, you will need to choose one of the subject in every group. Group 1,
Yep.
Language and literature. Group 2, language acquisitions. Group 3, humanity and social studies. Group 4, science. Group 5, mathematics. Group 6, arts. If you choose one of them, you will need to choose XL or HL or higher level, or SL, standard level. They have the different things. The first thing is about the materials coverage. HL will allow the students to study deeper than SL. And then the difference will be on the assessment that you have. For example, like in English B, because I'm teaching English B, if you take HL, you will have to write 450 to 600 essays in the external assessment. But if you take SL, the standard level, you will be required to write between 250 to 400 words. So that's the difference. And then how to manage that is like this. Actually, as Pradita Dirgantara students, I believe that you have what's that? Above average capability, right? Because if you were accepted here, it means that you pass all the selections process. Very tight, right? And participants of the test is so many students from all over Indonesia.
Thousands.
So it means that for the higher level, the teachers have done some analysis that the HL, I think all the students of Pradita Dirgantara can meet the requirement for the HL. So that's why the material we give to you is HL
Higher level.
or in higher level.
Yeah.
Although you are taking SL, but the
Yep.
material we give is HL because we would like to give you the same opportunity, because I believe that you have a good capability.
Yeah, but that is actually really beneficial for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it is beneficial, but we need to struggle at first so that we can be the best at the end.
And
Because this is something new.
Yeah,
It's quite
yes.
the same
That
case
is-
with classroom.
Yeah.
At first it will be like it's a
so
problem or
hard.
something,
But
some-
now
now
we're
we
used to
do
it. Okay, so speaking about essay and etc., we're getting into the last question for Sir Oscar. And it is our deadly exam paper. So how is that exam paper works in IB curriculum?
The exam paper.
Yeah.
I mean, do you mean
Internal assessment.
the internal assessment?
Yes.
Okay. That's a great question. Actually, the IB, if you want to get a full diploma certificate, you will need to do two things. The first is doing the internal assessment, right? And the second is external assessment. The internal assessment will contribute your score around 25% for English B, and then for the external assessment will contribute 75% for your final score. The difference is, for example, in internal assessment, for English B, you will have interactive oral activity like this. You will have a discussions like this.
Yeah.
But you will need to describe some pictures, and then you choose one of them. And then we have a discussions in. You will need to do a presentations in 4
Group of
minutes,
4. Oh.
and then we 4 minutes, and we have discussions, follow-up discussion. That's for English B. We have interactive oral activity. But for the external assessment, you will have paper 1, consists of listening and reading comprehensions, and then
Okay.
paper 2, writing. Now, but I think it will be different. from the other subjects. For example, like mathematics. In mathematics, you will have internal assessment in the form of mathematic exploration. And then for the external assessment, you have paper 1 and paper 2. And then for history, for example, you will have history investigation for the internal assessment. And then for the external assessment, paper 1 and paper 2. So that's how we prepare our students to face the internal and external assessment.
Okay, so
Is
it's
it
quite
all-
cool, isn't it?
Essay. Essay.
Yeah, essay.
Essay.
Yeah, writing skill is very important, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
it is so important. I'm like, nowadays it's all about essays, and and oh yeah. So let's move on to the core of the IB itself, which is the TOK, CAS, and E. But before we move on, I think I'm getting a little bit thirsty here.
Yeah.
Let's get a drink, shall we?
Okay.
Yes.
Suddenly.
Yeah. So this is the Florify. It tastes great. Let's just shake it first because it's how we drink it. We shake it.
Flavority.
Yep.
Where the
Flavority.
flavor
Florify.
intensity.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should you
looks
drink
good.
it?
Yeah.
Where can we buy it?
We can buy it
We can.
to the person behind the scene.
Oh, okay.
Let's try.
Yep. Tastes good, isn't it?
Yep.
That's good.
And
What's
it's
your
quite
flavor?
hydrating.
I'm not sure about the flavor, but I love it.
Ah.
Not too sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not bland as well.
Light,
And
yeah.
the aftertaste is good.
So we can go buy this. Just we'll give the link maybe or
Okay.
in the future. Yeah. So let's just move on to our core of the IB. So we'll have a little bit more talks about the CAS. So what is this CAS, or how can we do these projects in the creativity, activity, and service? And for Miss Edna, can you explain to us a little bit about the CAS, please?
Okay, so it's an opportunity for me
Yeah.
to lead the students in CAS experiences. Yeah, actually, CAS is one of the core elements. Beside that, there are TOK and extended essay, and CAS. I think it will keeps you happy, makes you happy, healthy, and motivated.
Of course.
Why? Because CAS actually consists of three parts: creativity, activity, and service. Creativity, it takes some imagination. It makes a product or performance, and then creativity is also, it's about ideas or expression of your emotions to explore another experience that you haven't got before. Yes, so it's about imagination and personal growth.
Personal growth.
And then activity, it's about physical exertion to make a healthy lifestyle and healthy habits. So
Yeah. In other words, the CAS or Creativity Activity Service prepare the students to face life
yes,
for your
right,
future.
to balance our life. And the last is service. Service is about to make you contribute
Uh-huh.
The
in your
society.
community and society. So it will utilize your decision making and problem solving, and also engage with global issue. Yes, it's about three parts: creativity, activity, and service. And also, CAS can be done atau can be do after school.
Oh, so
Yes,
it's not
after school.
So we can do it outside of school schedule.
Yes, of course.
And is this considered as CAS? Making this?
Yes, of course. This is one of the project of creativity, I think.
Oh, that's
So maybe
interesting.
before we go through the next
next question.
questions, you have done the CAS, right?
Yep.
Experience one. Maybe you can share what. What is
how
your
about
first
you
experience?
first?
You can go first, ladies go first.
Okay, so my my experience for the first CAS project is actually teaching dancing to my junior and in junior high school. We're basically just teaching twice a
Was it
week.
online?
Yep,
Ah, okay.
through Zooms. Yeah, that's it. I mean, they are kind of contributing with our teaching session, so that is kind of easy, I guess.
And then how did you feel after teaching them? You share how to dance, right?
Of course, there's this internet problems and stuff. I mean, there's of course some circumstances that made us hard to do that. But overall, it's sometimes making me feel like, oh, this experience is training myself to become a better person, like the person that able to manage times or something like that.
Is it refreshing? It is refreshing from.
Yes, really refreshing. Like after stressing school activities, we're able to, teaching our
Sorry,
juniors.
I cannot stop drinking it.
Oh my god.
Is it my turn?
um,
Okay, so for me, actually, my first cast is the activity itself. So I train myself to be better at playing table tennis or ping pong because I consider myself as a quite strong person sometimes, but I can't control my power. So in
You
some
need to release your energy.
yeah, I need to release my energy. So
Emotion.
in order to release my fluctuative energy, I do add more activities to my schedule, and one of those is by playing the table tennis. And yeah, what do I get after all of those activities? That yeah, I can play table tennis now. Previously I'm not really good at playing table tennis, but nowadays I can do a little bit of smash and doing a little bit of spin. But it is actually quite challenging, especially when we consider that we have a hectic schedule in the school.
Yes.
But since we do train and at first maybe it's hard, but in the end it'll get easier. Yeah, it happens to me as well. And as well as the reflection, I mean I'm feeling a little bit fit. I mean previously when I first entered the school, I am quite heavy on weight.
oh no, you're not.
I lost quite a lot of weight in my first 2 months. I lost around 6 to 8 kilograms.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, because at home I do nothing. Okay.
I guess now
sharing.
getting to the next question. Why does CAS considered as a very important component in IB other than TOK and EE?
Okay. So CAS is one element that utilize your personal growth and self-development, and then it's about a personal journey. It's your personal journey to balance about non-academic, because we know that in IB subject we have a lot of material,
Yes.
academic material, and in CAS it will give you some portion to make you have to get your non-academic, and you have to explore your academically, so your life will balance.
Balanced.
Balanced life. So actually, is it like how will the students do the CAS? I mean for us who have done the experience itself, and maybe for those people out there who never have got the experience on the CAS itself, how can they correlate the activities to the CAS, and how or is it a compulsory that each students connect the subject of their choice to the CAS itself?
Of course. Subject is the in subject we have TOK links, CAS links, and actually from the subject you can develop your content or your theory that you get from subject, and you develop it in the contextual activity. So I think it's not about theoretical but also experiential learning.
So are we able to, use our school activity as CAS
Yes,
projects?
of course.
Oh, we.
Due to our school have some extracurricular and some facilities here, so I think it's a big opportunity for students to make their CAS after schools or maybe in their holiday.
Okay, so actually, it is our chance to give the people on the YouTube for themselves to ask questions. So we open our Q&A session. So if you have any question regarding the IB or maybe anything related to our school, please ask in the chat column.
So actually, I have one question. Can I ask though?
Yes, please.
I mean, is it optional for us as students to choose our subject for CAS? For CAS? If
I
there
think
any subject?
It's based on their interest.
Oh, it's
Not-
based on my
yes,
interest.
Yes, because the basis of case is based on their interest and their passion. So I think do you like what subject?
English.
So maybe you can take a podcast experience to do review novels,
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 reviews.
novel
Ah.
reviews, or uh, make a content
Oh, about that
A
review.
review.
language or
Language?
essay, or
Essay.
how to write a novel.
Ah,
For example, right now we are studying about how to write diary entry. For
yes.
example, you can
Yes.
make a video talking about, okay, I would like to explain you how to write a diary entry or something like
Oh,
that.
so we can use our subjects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So quite actually, so it's between challenging, fun, and stressful days mixed in one way. Yeah.
First, confusing.
Confusing.
But it's still such a fun activity, like trying something that we have not tried before.
Yeah.
I think guess is one media
Yes.
to make you to be an actor,
Uh-huh.
an initiator, or a participant.
Okay. I do have a little bit of question, Mr. and Miss. Regarding, so we have actually discussed about the CAS, and there is actually two more components of the core of the IB, which is TOK and E. What are those? I mean, like, we need to know more about it. So, can you explain to us what
Briefly.
is TOK and EE briefly?
Okay, great. As I mentioned before in the first, that IB require the students to do 6 subjects, and then the 3 core elements, right? One of them is CAS, and then we have EE and TOK. The first, CAS or CAS, give you an opportunity as the students to balance your life and do your hobby, for example, to have your leisure time, and then to see the potential that you have in your life, yourself, for example. Then try to balance it into a very fun activity, reflections to be a better person. In TOK, we talk about the theory of knowledge. It is philosophical, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the basic question of TOK is how do we know what we know? That's philosophical. Right?
Wow,
That is
okay.
How
very
do we know
philosophical.
what we know? And then we try to explore our thinking about an object. It will help you to see a thing with several perspectives, for example. Because in our life, right, we will do that, and we need that kind of skill to think, to have a critical thinking,
Yep.
and so on. This is the okay to help you, to prepare you to be a better person, to see things with several perspectives.
And
Because
to be
sometimes
critical thinking.
and
Yes.
critical thinking, because sometimes we can claim this is a right things, but if we see it in a different perspective, it can be wrong, right?
Yeah.
And how do we see that in a different perspective? And then for extended essay, it will allow the students to develop their, of course, writing skill, because you will need to find the problems and then the method of the research that you will do to answer the research problems, doing analysis, right? And then after that, you will have conclusions about the problems. maybe you can give the suggestions how to solve the problem and so on. So in extended essay, you will be given an opportunity to explore what you are interested in, and then find some related literature to read, right? And to get more knowledge about the topics, and then how to solve the problem. And the most important thing, it gives you opportunity to be a researcher.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is actually a basic question, but it's kind of a private since I'm also experiencing this. And my EE and my CAS is almost the same. It's using in English. So since my EE is also reviewing novels, can I also using it as CAS?
Yes.
Yes.
Because CAS is the application of extended essay. In extended essay, you will write what you do in CAS, but we know that in AA there are several structures,
requirements.
requirements. So I think it can be.
So if our EE is chemistry, let's say it's a chemistry, and we have to, what is it called? Experiencing about something like, what is it called?
The chemical reactions.
Yeah, chemical reaction and stuffs.
Yeah.
Can we also use it as CAS, as CAS?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because CAS is about experiential learning.
Experiential learning. For example, Yuka is doing an experiment for her chemistry extended essay.
Extended essay.
But part of the experiment, you will need to take it as your CAS activity. Is that right?
Yes. Can I?
Possible, right?
It's possible.
It's possible.
But I think if you want to add some variable, you can
So
improve. from
differentiate
different-
the.
yes, difference.
Yes, the different perspective.
That is interesting because actually, I do want to try to use my EE as my CAS, but my EE is quite confusing to be used as an CAS because I do talk about the corporate social responsibility.
Business
and-
management.
Yeah, so I do take the business management as my EE, and it seems
I
like
see.
quite. Is it possible? I mean, like, especially I do discuss about the corporate social responsibility, and for me as a student, as an individual, I don't work in any other instances. It's like how can I do, or how can I at least try to experience those EE, like maybe what should I do? Can you give me any suggestions toward that, or
Yeah, that's the process of learning. So you will find the answer during the teaching and learning process, during the process, right? If you are interested in writing corporate social responsibility or CSR, maybe you can try to, design your research method. Will you use a questionnaire that you will distribute to the selected company that you would like to gain the data? Or maybe you can use the secondary data, for example. Now, we will learn about that. You will learn about how to deal with the research like that. And then the most important thing, how to deal with your supervisors. You'll ask your supervisor, and then your supervisor will give suggestion. And then you will think, oh, the suggestion is like that. Is it visible? Okay, maybe I would like to look for another alternatives, for example. So that can happen in the process of writing the extended essay. And it will allow you to learn more about that, about life.
Yep.
And after doing the external assessment, extended essay, I believe that when you are in a university, I think it will help you to be more knowledgeable to write your final thesis.
It'll be easy for us. Like,
yeah, this experience.
Or you can develop your extended essay.
yeah.
Yeah, if I did take business management for my university's major, I mean, like, yeah, I can just develop it to be something better, something longer. And you go, where, like, what major you want to take?
Major international relation, I guess.
Ah,
I hope so.
That's great. Yep, but be careful for your extended essay. Why? Because your extended essay cannot be the same with your internal assessment of one subject. For example, if your extended essays about business management, CSR, and then you have an internal assessment called as case study, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You cannot do the same thing because it will be considered as plagiarism.
Ah.
Even it's yours, but you do self-plagiarism. Be careful, because in the IB we promote academic honesty policy.
So actually, Mister, we have the first question coming from Maximus Queen Hertada from SMP 5 Yogyakarta. So, is there any students who don't pass the IB exam, or maybe like how can we make sure that all of the students pass the IB exam?
That's interesting question. That's interesting questions. In the IB diploma program, actually, it consists of two kinds of certificate. The first is full diploma. Of course, if you are meeting all the requirements of full diploma program. And the second is course certificate. Most of Indonesian, maybe, I don't know, most of IB schools, maybe they cannot, all of the students cannot get full diploma because the requirements
Of
are
course.
high, so hard, right? But you will still have your course certificate.
Oh.
And the course certificate is, what's that? Maybe some of universities in the world, they will, accept your course certificate, not full diploma. So for example, to make sure that everyone will get the diploma certificates, maybe the thing is we will do seriously our program, our teaching and learning process, and then the most important thing is the core element. For example, like CAS, there will be no score for CAS.
Yes.
But the thing is only two possibilities. The first is pass or
Fail.
no, or fail.
Okay.
So in CAS programs,
Yeah.
we have parameter. So we have to complete, students have to complete 6 experiences, yes, during 18 months.
Wow. So if we're not completing those experiences,
Will-
then
You will
Fail and
Fail.
will not get
the
the diploma.
diploma.
Oh my God.
Although your score is 45.
What?
Oh,
You have maximum score 45, but you fail CAS, you will not get.
so it's a really important
Yeah,
component
it is
of IB.
important to pass.
Yes.
And regarding to the Maximus Queen had the question, how can we actually use IB? I mean, like, Mr. Oscar stated that we can enter some of the universities, and can you give us example? What kind of universities can we enter? And maybe like in Indonesia, is there any university that accepts the IB curriculum?
Okay, that's a good question. The first, since IB is international standard curriculum, international baccalaureate, if you try to go visit websites, university websites, for example, like in Australia, UK, or US, there will be one question: what kind of certificate or diploma you have? Is it international? Sorry, is it national certificate or international certificate? And IB will be one of them. For example, if you want to study in maybe one of the university in Australia, you will need to take 1 year foundation because our national certificate is not considered. So you will need to do a foundation 1 year. But with your diploma certificate, you can pass that and go to university, for example, like that. And if you try to visit some YouTubes from the IB students, they got scholarships offered by the university because the university believe that the students who did the IB or implemented
Diploma.
the IB, they are ready to the university life.
Ooh. We're ready for university lives.
Are we ready?
Maybe for Indonesians, the second question is Indonesian
yeah.
university. I'm not sure about the Indonesian university who, which consider IB diploma certificate. But if I'm not mistaken, some universities like maybe University of Indonesia and then ITB, IPB, they have talent scouting for the selection process, the admissions process of the students. The talent scouting, if you have IB diploma certificate, maybe it will be valuable for you, yeah, to be accepted to that kind of university.
Okay.
So, sir, this is actually a private question from me again.
Mm-hmm.
So, we already have one of our senior that already passed Pradita Dirgantara, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any of them that failed IB exam? I mean, failed to fulfill, CIS or something like that.
Oh, you mean the first batch of Sama Pradita?
Yeah.
They do not implement the IB.
Also, they're
Because you are the
using
first cohort.
national
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 curriculum.
curriculum.
Oh. Oh yeah, I mean, he told us that we're using. Oh my God, I forgot.
God.
Sorry for
You are
that.
the first cohort of the IB.
Okay, such a pleasure. And there is a question from Kita Belajar. Are students required to pass the IB diploma, or maybe they need to only pass the national curriculum? I mean, like maybe this question is regarding that some of the students do only want to enter the national universities. So how or should they pass the IB or no? I mean, like, can you just explain? Because
Okay. As I mentioned before, the national curriculum 2013, is the basic curriculum that the school can develop the curriculum, right?
Yeah.
And we add IB value, we add IB curriculum as the curriculum in SMA Pradita Dirgantara, and we have global competencies, right? Because we would like to prepare our students to be the world future leaders. So the national curriculum, all the students will pass the national curriculum examinations, right? All the students will get that. But only some students who choose to take the external assessment will get the IB diploma certificate. But all the students will have the same opportunity to do the IB, although they are not taking the external assessment. But the material coverage, the experience you have in in the core elements, and then the subjects that you have, you will have the IB standard.
so it's like that. Even if we do learn with the IB curriculum, that we can still fulfill the requirement for the national curriculum.
Yes, of course.
Okay. On to the next question from M. Aldo Fahrezi. What if you're on a student exchange with a non-IB school? Do you still continue your IB course? If yes, how?
If there are some students who do an
Exchange.
Ah, that's great. Yeah, this is the things that you will need to know about IB. Before taking the external assessment, you will be required to study. If you take HL, 240 hours, 40 hours, and then for the SL, 150 hours.
Yeah.
So for the exchange students who take the exchange program, which is they are not doing exchange program in IB school, maybe they will need to be the first cohort of the IB and then do the first year of the IB. Because it is possible. But the exceptions happens when you are joining the
Non-IB.
exchange program with the IB school. You can continue your IB program there and then back here to take your external assessment. That's okay.
Okay.
For example, we have what we call it
UWC.
UWC program
Wow.
from the United Nations.
Yeah.
If you want to study in other schools, in how many countries we have?
It's 18.
18 countries.
Yeah.
But it is special for the IB students. So you can do your IB program there and then back to your school after 1 year program. You continue your IB learning and then you can get an opportunity to take your external assessment.
So it means that where the students get the core elements there, they can
They
continue.
can do that there and continue here.
They can continue here. Okay.
Because there's a special program designed by United Nations, right?
Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, if I do reread again about the UWC, they do state that it'll be 2 years of learning or how? I'm not really sure, but if it is a 2-year learning and then I do get my IB diploma there, what will happen? Will I still be the part of the school or how is it supposed to be?
Question. IB word school. So you will get the diploma from the IB. Although you do it not in the school, but the standard will be the same.
Oh.
And the value of the diploma is the same. Because IB will issue the certificate, not the school.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, yes.
Let's do it, shall we?
Do you have any question? If not, I will ask one. Oh my God, I asked so many questions. So this question is actually regarding to the one that you said about higher level and standard level. And let's say I am choosing a chemistry for my higher level. Should I really pick my higher level subject for my EE program?
For the extended essay,
Yes.
I didn't get the point of the questions. If you want to do the extended essay,
So let's.
Maybe if I can collaborate. So Yuka is asking about that. The extended essay, should we take the subject that we choose as HL subject as our EE, or is it up to us between our 6 chosen subject to be used as our EE?
maybe as HL will be better because you will get a more knowledge, yeah, if you study
yeah.
HL, the deeper
knowledge,
materials and so on. So if you like to write something related to the subject, I think you have a sufficient knowledge about that if you take HL.
But
It is-
it's not mandatory, right?
Yeah, but if you would like to take the SL subject to be your extended essay subject, so you will need to have extended materials
Of
to
course.
read, right?
Quite a discussion we have, So
Got any more questions?
actually, I kind of get it why our school likes IB. I mean, like, it is such a great curriculum. I mean, like, even with this IB, we can fulfill our national curriculum as well as
Yes.
our self-development.
And we still have weekends and holidays. It's not that stressing though. If I think about it again, we still have time to refresh.
At first, yes, it is stressing.
Yeah,
Yes.
but as time goes.
Yeah, it's quite normal.
Yep.
Okay, so there's actually one more question from the kids. Mr. Oscar, may I ask, is it obligatory to choose intonation AHL because there is no SL option provided?
Okay, that's a question, yeah. Since we are Indonesian native,
Yes.
right?
Intonation.
So I think it's unfair if we take the SL subject, standard level, because I just consider that, okay, maybe for the Indonesians, I think we can have Indonesian AHL, because that's our native language, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually a question from Udil Study. So,
Esta?
yep. So, so if we don't continue our study abroad, I mean, like in the PTLN, should we do the IB test? I mean, like, maybe our focus is on the national universities, or maybe our focus on the the police and the army. So should we do the IB test?
Okay, that's a great question. That I want to mention is IB is not about the administrative thing to your next study level. This is about preparing you to face your life in the future. You will have an opportunity to explore yourself, to find the best versions of yourself by doing IB. Because as I mentioned before, we have core element which help you to find the big potentials of yourself and then try to improve it and develop it. And then the material learned in IB subjects, they provide you to have a deeper understanding about the subject matter, for example, like that. So it's not about, okay, I think I don't want to study abroad, so I don't need to take the IB, no. But the school decided that the IB value is very important, and then integrated with a national curriculum, we have global competences curriculum that we think that this curriculum will help the students to prepare their future. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever the, 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 the major study that you like to take in the next level, like maybe study abroad or maybe just study in Indonesia, but by doing IB, you will be prepared to be the university students wherever you take your study. So that's the main ideas that the students, the school is implementing the IB curriculum.
So for this really great IB curriculum,
Yeah.
there is another question from
A little bit off
again
topic. Yeah.
Maximus from SMP5 Yogyakarta. For 2022, do we have to pay for the IB program in SMA Pradita Digantara? Yeah, that's the question.
So I cannot answer that question. I just help to implement the IB curriculum, but about the finance and so on, maybe we just wait for the next regulations about that.
Okay, so maybe it will be discussed in the next podcast.
Nah,
There's a-
next podcast maybe will be the next.
If we do have another podcast about the justice as well, maybe we'll talk about that more. But for now, let's just focus the IB again. So there's a question from Shafira Matedevi regarding our school's implementation for the IB. So right now, because we currently in our year we don't have the art art group yet, and for the next year or so, will we have the art group and or we will have to choose two subjects for the science group?
Yep. Yeah. For the questions, thank you for the questions. The first, because when we applied the IB applications for the authorization, we didn't have the science resources. Sorry, the arts resources. So that's why, because SMA Pradita Digantara is a science school, right?
Yes.
So that's
Hard
why
science.
we changed, hard science school. So that's why we changed the art group into a science school. But for the next cohort, maybe we will over arts. Yeah? We will over arts. Yeah. Because for the first cohort, as I mentioned before, that we focused on the science development. Yeah, and the students, you are having opportunity to explore yourself in terms of science. But actually, you don't leave arts at all, right? Because in the national curriculum, you still study arts.
Yes.
So that's the problem. Only the different thing is, art is not the IB subject, but maybe in the next academic year, we will over arts as the IB subject.
Great. And you can implement arts in CAS.
In CAS.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so
Another
there
question
is another question
from
that.
again the Gills.
Okay, so why should we choose the 6 subjects so early? I mean, like maybe some of the students were still wondering like which subject should I take? I mean, like am I good in math A, or am I good in which subject? It's,
Yep.
they're not sure yet. I mean, like why is it better for us to take
This
the
early.
6 subjects this early, quite early?
Yeah, because the first thing is before taking the subject, of course, you will have a consultations sessions, right? With your counselor, with the teachers, with the TP coordinator, especially with your parents, yeah, to know the potential that you have inside yourself, to know what is your weakness, your strength, and so on. So I think it's very important because if we have chosen the 6 subjects of the IB, we can focus on them. We can prepare for the external assessment and the internal assessments. And after that, of course, before taking the subjects, you consider your next study in the university, right? What kind of department that you would like to take, in what university, and so on. We will see the requirement of the university, and then okay, I'll do that. I will do to choose these 6 subjects, for example, like that, and it will help you to focus on the 6 subjects you would like to take.
So we can like be more focused.
Mhm.
That's actually a great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm kind of agree with this.
Yeah.
But actually, this is one of the implementations of Merdeka Belajar because you choose what you are interested in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe because our time is limited and that's what
Ah,
it shows.
yeah.
Times.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe we have done a very great discussion towards the
a
IB
very deep
implementation. Yeah, a very deep one about the IB implementation in the school as well as the IB diploma program itself. And maybe it's time for us to leave. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to give
Wait. Thank you for
subscribe.
Sir Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Miss
Oh,
Ernie
yes.
too. Oh my god.
Thank you for Mr. Oscar and Miss
Sir,
Ernie
yeah.
for
Okay.
coming
Yep.
this great afternoon. And maybe that's all from us. Good afternoon and
And
peace out.